There seems to be so much change floating about from everything of a political standpoint, all the way being brought into the health of Americans. And this is a big can of worms we can open up about how long we've been poisoned and just kept sick throughout the food and pharmaceutical industries. But looking at the things that now RFK Jr. being in a place of position is saying and changes being made, I found these 8 tips that, if given 30 days, could actually make America healthy again. What are they and will they work? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Welcome back, friends. I'm Heidi, the Heavenly Minded Homemaker, and I just got my shower and I'm getting all ready for bed tonight. And I don't know what it is. Hold on, I didn't mute my computer. I don't know what it is, but there's something about evening time where it makes me think of healthy choices more often. I don't know if it's because it's the type of content I see that pops up on my feed, or I'm just thinking about what all I did that day or what I need to do better or whatever it is. But I start thinking about these things that, what do I need to implement in my life to be healthier? So maybe you're struggling with something. Maybe you are diabetic. Maybe you're dealing with high blood pressure. Maybe you're just overweight. Maybe you just don't feel good, right? Your body just hurts. You're tired. You're not sleeping well, whatever it might be. Americans, by and large, are incredibly unhealthy. We're seeing that in ourselves. We're seeing that in our children. And I am so optimistic to start to see these people coming into power positions that really are challenging the food and pharmaceutical industries that we've had here in this country that have caused so many just damages and even death in our country. And so I found these 8 tips, these Make America Healthy Again tips, based off of the things that we see mainly coming out of RFK Jr. But for any of us who have been looking at this topic of health for a while, you're going to start to see a lot of things you recognize here. So my challenge to you is to listen through to these 8 tips. Let's start implementing them to the best of our ability each and every day. Let's do that for 30 days. Meet me right back here and let's see how we're doing. Deal? Let's get to the first one. Now, tip number 1 is eat more beef. I recently watched a food documentary after listening to a podcast that Mike Rowe put out with the producer, and our family went on a carnivore way of eating a few years ago, and it really is crazy to see the impact you have in your life when you start consuming more red meat. Over the past couple decades, we have seen this massive push for the removal of red meat and only doing lean meats, chicken and turkey, or cutting out meat altogether. And really, to truly get healthy, it's the opposite of that. And I know our family, when we started switching to this carnivore way of eating, beef is really at the base for our family's entire menu plan of everything that we eat. And eating more beef, we feel so much better. Chronic issues we've dealt with really have been, if not severely lessened, but completely removed. I started taking beef organ supplements with my Primal Queen supplements that I take, and oh my word, it has changed so much with my health. And I challenge you that if you're facing a lot of issues, whether it's weight you need to lose, health issues you're dealing with, just general low energy, not feeling well, insulin resistance, anything it might be, hormone imbalance, upping your beef intake, adding in things like beef organs or taking supplements, I'll link mine down below if you're looking for something. Talk about a huge difference. It is phenomenal. The second tip here is eat more eggs. Again, another food that was so demonized for so long. You can survive off of eggs alone. Eggs are such a nutrient powerhouse. Now, I say that as someone who, I'm not a big egg fan. I actually really am not. I don't know. I don't really like eggs, but I really started when I started doing the carnivore way of eating, forcing myself to eat scrambled eggs. And, I like them okay. And it's funny that the more and more I do that, because they have so much of the nutrients that your body is craving, the more and more that you eat them, the more and more your body craves them, because you're really starting to like get all of that good nutrient that your body needs. And so adding more eggs into your diet, not egg whites, right? Don't mix it up. Like, don't believe that stuff we've been told was good. Eat the whole egg. It is like God's little powerhouse of nutrients. Make sure you are getting eggs in your diet. You're going to be thankful for it. Now, tip 3, drop the carbs. I am not saying that carbs are like the end all be all evil of all food. I think that there's a lot more that goes into it. I think a lot of it has to do with what we treat our grains with here in America. I find it very fascinating that people can eat European wheat products and they don't have the same issues and problems that they do with American wheat products. And then you look at the chemicals and things that we use on our crops that are completely outlawed in Europe and not used anywhere over there. So like, I think that's a whole thing. Totally believe it. I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, our family switched to only eating, if we eat grain, we eat European grain, and we eat it definitely in moderation. And it was crazy, just those simple things like how much that impacted our health. We consume so many carbs. And if you start paying attention to all the carbs that you consume in a single day, then track that for a week, then track that for a month, right? You start to add those numbers up, and it is just absolutely insane. Never in the history of mankind have we seen the amount of carbs being consumed. And you look at the nonsense that goes into how they came up with the food pyramid and anything along those lines. And it's not healthy, and it's not what we should be doing. And so I highly recommend, if you are looking to really get serious about your health and reverse and help cure problems you're dealing with to the best of your ability, and the way we feed our children, we need to really look at how many carbs we're consuming. I think there are healthy carbs and there are unhealthy carbs, right? There's overconsumption and there's moderation. And so, MAHA tip of the day, start paying attention and dropping those carbs. The next would be eliminating processed foods. If we would just cut out the things that are ultra processed, just doing that, you're going to start to see impact. Like, I noticed that strict carnivore was like ultimate impact on my health, my energy, my, different chronic conditions I've been dealing with, my weight, inflammation, things of that. So like strict carnivore eating, meat products only, like that's ultimate healing. But simply just cutting out processed foods, processed drinks, right? Like, just cutting out that is going to start to have a massive impact. And you do that for 30 days, even just one of these out of all of them, right? You just start with that and you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start noticing a difference. And I always tell my kids, I go, okay, whenever we're looking at stuff, read the ingredient list. Do you know what those foods are? And so if you're going to start looking at how to cut out the processed things, look at your ingredient list. Ideally, it should have 5 or less ingredients in it. And you should know exactly what all 5 of those ingredients are. You should not be consuming anything with high fructose corn syrup, right? Those are just automatic nixed out. You start reading some of these different names, look them up. And if you read the description of what that is and you go, what? Don't put it in your body. What you fuel your body with has a massive impact on your health. And so eliminating processed foods, ideally, it's all the foods that the Lord created. I tell my kids, you know why we don't have Fruit Loops in our house? Because there's no such thing as a Fruit Loop tree. God did not create that. A man in a lab did. And so we're not going to be putting that into our bodies. 5th tip here is cook with butter. Use butter, good, true butter. Anything margarine, anything butter substitute, Throw it away. Don't ever consume it again another day in your life. Remember, all these foods that really started coming out in this low fat, no fat diet and all these things that were coming out, oh, stop using lard, use Crisco. All these changes started happening, and the health of Americans has plummeted since then. Butter has been around since the beginning. Mankind has used butter for so many purposes with great results. Start incorporating pure butter into your diet and the things that you use to oil a pan to cook with, right? I always put some in my scrambled eggs when I'm making them. Whenever we cook any meat, we put butter over top of it. Some people even use it to make their coffee in the morning, which I never could really get into. It just wasn't my thing. I'm going to stick to my protein coffee, but butter is your friend. No margarines, no substitutes. Get rid of all of that and start using good, pure butter. Your body will thank you. Now, the next one is cut the sugar. Sugar is like an underlying root of evil in our modern day food, and it is everywhere. Sugar is snuck in to everything. Juices, yogurts, breads. You can start going our lunch meats, right? Like sugar is mixed into so much and it has so many different names. And so when you start to become educated on the different names that they use, what they are, where all the sugar is hidden, it is not just the obvious things like candy bars and cookies and sodas, right? Obviously, those are filled with sugar, but so are things like our salad dressings and our sauces. And so when you really start to be aware of that and pay attention, you start eliminating out that sugar. Honestly, what you're probably going to notice is you're going to feel miserable. You are going to go through withdrawals like a drug addict, because that's what sugar is. It really impacts your body the same way as illegal drugs. And there's fascinating studies you can see on this, and it really is mind-blowing. But we don't want to be addicted to sugar. Sugar has such negative effects on your body. Not only does it add to the excess weight, does it add to health issues, it causes your body to be so incredibly inflamed. I make my tea every night. Guess what? No sugar in it, right? I don't add sugar to that. When I make my coffee, I quit the sugary creamers and things that I put in it, and I use a protein powder that has a very teeny tiny trace amount of sweetener in it, but it is good without it. If I'm having a treat like going out to Starbucks, right? There are ways that you can change your drink so that way you are getting a very minimal amount of sugar or getting a drink that has no added sugars in it to begin with. And so the more you start looking at these things and cutting the sugars, you're going to go through some withdrawals. You're probably not going to be too happy about it in the first place. There's even it almost feels like you're getting the flu, right? Especially if you've been really addicted to sugar and then your body's trying to detox from that. It might not feel great in the beginning, but push through, hang on, right? Do this for 30 days minimum, and you're going to be like a whole new person. Now, the 7th tip here is to drink plenty of water. I have my big old cup here. I got it with my beef organ supplements, and I fill this thing up all day long with fresh water. Hydrate your body, especially when you're trying to detox from the sugars, from the carbs, from the processed foods, right? Giving your body those nutrients back in with the healthy food that you're eating, right? More beef, more eggs, adding good healthy fats like butter, drinking plenty of water, and even adding great electrolytes to your water will help your body replenish and heal and turn over those new fresh cells as quickly as you really can as you go through the process. And so whether it's adding some, healthy salt to your drink or some of those healthy electrolyte mixes, that's a great way to really help your body okay, right? Like I'm moving forward, I'm healing, I can do this one day at a time. And the last tip here in our Make America Healthy Again, 30-day starter pack, get at least 20 minutes of sunshine each and every day. Being out in the sunshine, I'm not saying sit outside and roast yourself until your skin turns to leather. That's not what I'm saying. But Sunshine is so important to our health, for your immunity, for your cells, for just your inner well-being. Sunshine's really important. And we are now a community, a culture of people that get the least amount of sunshine than any other time in history. We spend so much time inside. Everything is artificial light, right? Our kids don't play outside. We don't work outside. Everything is indoors. We don't get that fresh air. We don't get that sunshine. And so I would really set a goal of at least 20 minutes each day that you're just going to go outside. We have a little patio table we picked up at Goodwill that we have out there that anytime the weather is semi-decent enough, we go sit outside and eat out there, right, to kind of soak up the last of the sun before it sets. When the kids are, during the day we're doing our homeschool, we will go sit outside and do our reading out there. I'll go out and, walk with the sheep and the dogs around the homestead, or spending some time gardening, or honestly, sometimes just going outside for a few minutes apiece and drinking my coffee and kind of letting the sun fill me while I try to get up and get going in the morning. And so making that a priority in your day, getting some sunshine, that is definitely going to make a difference. And here with a 30-day plan to help get our health back on track, that's definitely an important one. So what do you think? Do you think you could tackle one or all 8 of these for the next 30 days? What do you feel about RFK Jr. and everything going on with this whole Make America Healthy Again? I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment down below. I find it fascinating, these topics of just food and natural health and living and healing with the natural creation that God, the Creator, gave us. I think it's just such a wonderful, wonderful area to study, to learn about, and to apply in our lives. And so seeing things like Joel Salatin coming on board and different things RFK Jr. is proposing and different things that are just happening in the world today, looking at our food industry and the pharmaceutical industry, I'm quite excited about it. Who knows where it'll go? But I think these 8 tips here to focus, to make America healthy again, to set this challenge and say, all right, for the next 30 days, I'm going to focus on these 8 areas. That's something my family is absolutely going to be doing. I hope you will come and join us, and you know it. We'll update you as we go through the process. Be sure and you subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, like this video, and share it with someone that you know would love to start their health journey, truly making America healthy again, starting one citizen at a time. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, friends.